So the big tax question is this: how do wealthy people keep their money working for them when selling their business, real estate, or other highly appreciated assets without paying hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in tax? What if we, as business and real estate owners who have poured blood, sweat, and tears to growing our wealth, and who didn't hire expensive tax attorneys and CPAs to map out an exit strategy, knew their secrets? Instead of recreating the wheel, why can't we just model the way they deferred 30 to 50% in tax, paid off debt, funded their next business dream, and most importantly, leave a financial legacy to give to the causes we believe in most? What if their secrets weren't complicated at all, and you just need a guide who is a few steps ahead of you? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brett Swarts, and welcome to Capital Gains Tax Solutions.
Welcome to the Build It to Billions podcast, where we guide successful entrepreneurs and investors on their journey from millions to billions. We believe the key to scaling and compounding your wealth in life starts every single day with the mindset and practice of stewardship over ownership and applying billionaire biblical principles. Our ultimate goal is to help you scale and compound your wealth in life so you can give more all of it away to help MVPs, the most vulnerable people. My name is Brett Swarts, and every episode we're joined by the world's top entrepreneurs, millionaires, and billionaires where they share their expertise, insights, and wisdom with us so we can all level up and compound our impact. I'm excited about our next guest. He's out of the Chicagoland area, and he is a results-oriented leader with over 15 years of real estate experience, including residential redevelopment, commercial, new construction, and operations, facilities management. And he's dedicated his time and efforts to fine-tuning the process of back office infrastructure through community development projects. He has a successful record in business developments in the competitive real estate industry and has started and grown several small businesses over the last 13 years. And so much more. Today we're talking about real estate and impact. And please welcome to the show with me, LeVar. LeVar, how we doing?
I'm doing great, Brett. How about yourself, man?
Phenomenal. Great to have you on the show. For our listeners, get to know you for the first time. Why don't you give us just a little bit more about your story and then your current focus?
Sure. So my story starts in a place. So I am a Chicago native, and so born and bred, and my theme is kind of like the local boy does good, right? Okay. So I grew up in an underserved community, just trying to find a way. I was fortunate enough to get a football scholarship to Tennessee State University. Nice. And it's at Tennessee State University where kind of my dream and everything came to fruition. I was a business major there, had a real focus on a concentration in real estate and urban development. And I had a couple of professors that steered me the right way, and I haven't looked back since then, man. I spent 10 to 15 years in corporate America, kind of refining my craft. I feel like that time allowed me to understand how to be a well-rounded entrepreneur, and it has benefited me to this day because I run several small businesses, kind of like they're corporations. So that infrastructure, building that back office is kind of where I really kind of grind my teeth and make things come together.
Amazing. Love it. LeVar, love everybody, and want to get to know him and get to see what he's doing. You can go to rosieinvestment.com. It's rosieinvestment.com. I'm going to spell it for you, ROSIE investment.com. So let's dive right into the topic, which is real estate and community impact, right? So what is the number one secret to doing that, and what help us to walk through this process?
Sure. So I think for me, the secret sauce is just kind of having a passion for it. Like, real estate is not an easy business. So it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's like, if you got fundamental principles, if you're passionate about the business and you're willing to grind and do the work, real estate is the most fun you'll ever have, man. So it's like, love it and grind out, work hard. To me, like that is what it takes.
Excellent. So having the passion for it and then be willing to do the work, and walk us through maybe your journey into real estate investing. Sure. and then we can maybe kind of then go to like the community impact and how you're making a difference today.
Sure. So I don't know if you have enough time, man. So I'll try to make it a short story, because I go back to the old days before we were, we had the internet like we do.
Sure.
And we used to drive to see properties that had grass like growing up around, and then we go to the courthouse and try to find who owned it and things like that. Doing a lot of cold calls. That's where I started. So back in the 90s. And then what I would say is, like, back then I really had a kind of a a buy and hold mentality. It was really all about appreciation for me. I still own some of the properties. I still own kind of like those core properties that I bought in the late '90s. Like it's the best part of my portfolio today, and it's part of the reason why I can kind of make some of the moves and do some of the things that I do today because I held those properties. So fast forward, my corporate journey kind of had me moving all over the place, and I was fortunate enough when they relocated me, I, kind of buy a house here, buy a house there. So that led me to being a landlord. So having that, that real estate portfolio, being a landlord, having positive cash flow, as well as assets and equity allowed me to kind of leverage that. And then that's how I kind of got it. That's how I got into like flipping. So then I transitioned into a flipper. So but by then I had moved back to Chicagoland where I grew up at. So I'm flipping in the west suburbs and the south suburbs of Chicago, having a pretty good business. And then I ran into a lender actually, with great organization that I still work with today, Chicago Community Loan Fund. And they were pioneering and championing a program for the city of Chicago called the Neighborhood Rebuild Program. And the gentleman's name is Wendell Harris. Shout out to Wendell. He's still there today, still talk to him. And he was like, hey, man, you would be great for this program. He was like, we need someone who understands, real estate development, the residential real estate development, somebody's from the community, understands the impact that needs to happen in the community. So long story short, he and I, we built a relationship. I actually didn't join the program for a year or two. I just kind of kept doing what I was doing and then took time to understand how to create a business model around that community real estate development, because it's a business model. It's you're not just flipping. It's like you're not going to necessarily the hottest neighborhood where the real estate is always flying off the shelf. You're going into underserved communities. You're lending from what's called CDFIs. If you guys don't know that, it's a different type of lender. It's not like a hard money lender. So it's a business model that I created, and that's kind of what brought me where I am today. Working with organizations like Greenwood Archer Capitals, Chicago Community Loan Fund. Those are CDFIs in the area.
Okay.
Great part.
Got it. Okay. So here's the key, right? So you obviously have the experience in real estate yourself, right? You understood it deeply, and then you watched and kind of studied the model with how it could connect with the Chicago neighborhood rebuild program, right? The fund here, and once you figured out how you could connect the two, then boom, then you started to do that. So maybe just briefly talk about making an impact and doing these things, right? Like in real life. So bring it to life for us. So finally, what was the business model, or what is the business model, right?
Sure.
And what does it help to do for the community?
Sure. So I have the best way to explain it and bring it to life is a real live example. So one of the first projects we did was in the West Inglewood community. So there was a basically abandoned property that had been abandoned for 10 years. So it's been sitting on this block where it's a good block. They have a block club. Everything is good. A lot of homeowners on the block. And when we came in, it was one of those situations where they came and was like, are you guys going to do something with this house? It's been vacant for 10 years. It's like, we would love if you guys could do it. And once they found out that we were working hand in hand with the City of Chicago Department of Housing, they embraced us. And when they embraced us, we kind of became part of the block. So we weren't just some flippers, investors that were there. Like they would bring us cookies, and they would. It was really they embraced us and made sure that anything that they could do to support us. They watched the property for us, things like that. We didn't have any break-ins. It was just a really good relationship with the community. So that was kind of one pillar there. Second. Part of the neighborhood rebuild program is to also create jobs. So we had several apprentices working at this project. So we were doing some training. They were learning with our journeyman carpenters, our experienced subcontractors, things of that nature. So we were helping train individuals on how to learn how to do the trades. We were creating jobs through the neighborhood rebuild program. And this was a project that we acquired from a land bank. So it's the Cook County Land Bank Authority. So it was all of these core principles that we were using at the same time, taking our base foundation of being real estate flippers,
Mm-hmm.
and then having a positive impact on this community in several ways.
I love it. That's some fantastic. So the creating the jobs and so getting training in the trades, helping the community out with the house that's been sitting vacant for 10 years. And then you taking your real estate expertise on how to do this. And so was the vision, and maybe was it a redevelopment of the project? Was it, okay, so you redevelop it and then it can become a rental, or like what happens after that? What's the long term?
So that is another piece. So this is to create affordable housing. So it was a first-time home buyer that bought this project.
Oh, nice. There you go.
So we work with a first-time home buyer program. The house sold. And then here's that key piece where it was like where the light bulb went off, and I realized we weren't flippers anymore. My business, we weren't flipping, that we were community redevelopers. Because when they found out someone was buying the property, the several people from the block club came over and were like, they were distraught because we were leaving. So like we loved them, they loved us. Yeah. But then they actually had like a list of properties that were in like a 2-block radius that they were like, can you guys do something with these properties?
Yeah.
Like we want you guys to stay in our neighborhood. Right. They didn't want us to leave.
Of course.
And it was in that moment the light bulb went off and was like, oh, this is different. Like this isn't. Because when I was a flipper, like, man, we went in, we were trying to move the unit as fast as possible, get the heck out of there. Like, we were just going to the next hot area or, the next hot house that we thought we could sell as fast as possible.
Right. Transactional versus transformational.
Transactional versus relationships. Exactly.
Yeah, versus relationship. I love the heart behind it. I love that light bulb moment. But by the way, you got to think with numbers in business. Otherwise, you can't do what you do. And then you got to think with your heart and impact. Otherwise, what does it matter what you do, right? So like it's always both, and it takes the entrepreneur and it takes the community and everyone working together to try to make this thing a win-win. So that's just cool. So what in particular, besides the neighborhood rebuild program, do they provide discounted financing? Do they provide assistance and down payments? Do they give us a little bit more meat for like what the program is to help speed these things along or make it more momentum on it?
For the developer, meaning
for the developer. Yeah, exactly. So for you coming in and seeing like versus just doing it yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's actually several reiterations. So we're actually on Rebuild 2.0, transitioning to Rebuild 3.0 now. Okay. And with Rebuild 2.0, we actually don't have acquisition costs. So they absorb the acquisition costs for us. And then also too, it is under market or kind of lower rates on the financing. That's one of the benefits of being able to work with a CDFI. Typically, now don't get me wrong, it's not like 3% or anything like that, but it's definitely a lot lower than hard money. And then kind of if you're going, it's just kind of a commercial, loan. If you have that line of credit or something like that, it's a little bit lower than that. So you get some benefits there. And then we also have a working relationship. There's like a partnership with the Department of Housing and the Department of Buildings. Okay. So it might help you with your permitting. It might help you kind of move things along kind of faster, things of that nature. So there's several layers where they can assist to help you get moving on a project. And there's a larger inventory. So the Department of Housing is now working with the Cook County Land Bank. So, and this was really more of a benefit probably what I'd say like 2 years ago. It works today, but 2 years ago, guys like me, it was like we were bidding against each other for these. You couldn't find properties 2 years ago. So to be able to go to an inventory where it's like, hey, we have this inventory sitting here. It was a huge advantage kind of when there was a lack of supply in the marketplace.
Oh, 100%. Right. And it's kind of almost like a turnkey inventory, right? You show up and like, these are the spots, here they are, or lined out, and especially if you've done projects in the area, get the community already behind you. It makes sense. By the way, if you want to learn more about LeVar and everything he's doing, go to rosieinvestment.com, rosieinvestment.com, ROSIE-investment.com. So, all right. So keep going here. So then you come in, you fix the house up, sell to first time home buyer, create the jobs, you get to be able to scale it as you get the track record with local community and with the neighborhood rebuild program. And then what are you seeing now? Like, I mean, there's always probably opportunities out there, but has it become like, you just go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one? And then how can we help you grow? Are you looking for outside capital? Are you looking for, like what's kind of the mission behind what you guys are doing?
So our biggest opportunity today is the trades. It's like it is so hard to find, good subcontractors, good electricians, plumbers, HVAC, things like that. So my team and I, we're almost creating a recruiting strategy to onboard subcontractors. Like that's what we need today. We have great partners when it comes to financing, kind of with the CDFIs. I mean, everybody could always use more capital, right? Let's just be clear.
Sure.
But I think today we spend our energy really trying to find great tradesmen, trying to find great contractors, kind of things of that nature. That is really what we need to increase our volume, keep our momentum going, things of that nature.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's hard to find great ones. You're right. And they're so busy. The good ones are getting pulled in all the directions and all things. Okay, got it. And what do you feel like what's your sense on the real estate market? Interest rates have been, this big pause. I get the sense that people are pausing and waiting to see if the rates will drop and where we're at. What's your sense on the market?
So my sense, if I'm being transparent and just straight up, I'm also in a place where I'm not trying to do a flip if I don't have to, because I always watch days on market, right? And it's like, unless you're in the hottest market, it's like right now, days on market is above the equilibrium. It's above 30 days, right? So because I started as a buy and hold guy, and I'm still a, kind of secondary buy and hold guy, like I'm out here looking for properties that I can still do the rehab and still put a tenant in and get that equity, that appreciation, build my portfolio, things like that. That's kind of my primary search, right? Okay. And what I realize is that the rebuild program is always going on. So we're always doing a project in the rebuild program, but it's not our kind of primary, let's have 5 flips going on today type deal, if that makes sense, right?
That makes total sense.
It's one of those that as an experienced, investor, experienced guy in real estate, I understand the ebbs and flows in the marketplace, and I understand when I need to kind of listen to what the market is telling me today.
Exactly. You don't want to force it. That makes perfect sense. Now let's talk about capital gains tax, right? So one of the things that, folks look at is the 1031 exchange, but sometimes it can be frustrating because you have to buy in the same marketplace. I'm curious, what has been your experience, especially, I grew up in California, you're in Chicago, right? So Illinois, California, New Jersey, New York, these are the highest, capital gains tax states. I'm curious, what's your biggest frustration when it comes to 1031 exchanges or capital gains tax plans?
So it's funny. It's like several times I have, took the steps to start a 1031 exchange. But I would never, I haven't pulled the trigger. I'll just be honest with you, because what I saw my struggle has been not wanting to get stuck in that period, because you only have a finite period to kind of make this new acquisition, and just my deals, it seems like whenever I'm on this tight timeline, something happens, right? And it's like I would never want to get held up. So that would be my first thing with the 1031 exchanges. I've been working with an agent and several times and just kind of stopped it and was like, hey, no, I'm not going to move forward. The second piece with the capital gains tax is like, honestly, I sit down with my accountant quarterly and we kind of manage our projects, right? So like, hey, which ones are you planning on selling? How many do you have under construction? So we know what we have in write-offs, and kind of managing it that way. It's almost like it's that accountant is a business partner for me. So it's almost a juggling act, to be honest with you, Brett. It's a juggling act just to understand, hey, how can I minimize my tax liability based on the amount of projects I have going on, or which projects I have going on.
100%. By the way, we call that the shotgun wedding and the 1031 exchange, right? You're like, I got to get engaged and married and 45 to 180. And I don't want to sell high and buy higher in a deal that I don't necessarily want to buy. Yeah. And so we have a solution for that, right? And so that's why we started our company, Capital Gains Tax Solutions, to eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange, to give the sellers an ability to sell high and buy when it makes sense. I'll give you a deal story. We helped a client out of California sell a massive, actually a car wash exit, defer all of their tax. And we sat in a deferral trust. It's a trust that's deferred and you can pay back over time. But we invested into Bitcoin, we invested into passive real estate debt, we invested into S&P 500. Basically, we waited for this real estate market to shift. And now that it's shifting, we're buying back at a discount, all tax deferred. So no 1031 required, no like-kind replacement required, in and out of real estate whenever you want. And most people just don't know about it. They don't know that we have the Netflix of exit planning versus the old Blockbuster 1031. By the way, if you find a nice 1031 and all the stars lined up, by all means, go for it. Yeah. We have a way to do regular 1031 or have this as a backup plan, our strategy. But most people just don't know. And otherwise, they don't sell or they wish they would have sold when the prices were high. If people want to learn more about that, you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. It's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. What haven't I asked you so far that you want to make sure we highlight for the listeners?
Man, you've asked some great questions, man. I think that, focusing on the impact that we do with, real estate, as well as the projects that we're working on, man. So good deal.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it's ready for the lightning round. Let's rock and roll here. So knowing what you know now, LeVar, if you go back to your 20-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget make sure to tell yourself to do?
Incorporate sooner.
Okay. Got like S Corp?
Yep, S Corp, even LLC, man. So I was an investor who was buying in my personal name, and I kind of got stuck, with like 6 properties, and I couldn't get any more loans. And it took me kind of a couple of years of refinance. Once I learned the strategy, you need to be incorporated. You got to go out and get some business credit, some lines of credits, things like that. It took me a couple of years to get these properties out of my personal name and so it stalled me. So I actually got stalled a little bit for a few years, and that is what I would go back and tell my 20-year-old self: incorporate sooner and learn the principles of it.
Got it. Question. That's great. Good wisdom. Question number 2: what's maybe number 1 book you've recommended in the past year or so that you've really liked or that you've read?
Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
So good, right?
Yeah.
I love it. What's the number 1 concept in there that you feel like it really helped, a game changer for you?
It was understanding the email GPS and training your VA on that, because I've had VAs for several years. I've got a project coordinator, but it wasn't until I truly understand the email GPS. It was like it gave me the workflow, right, to kind of keep things going and cycling through an efficiency from an email standpoint, which I never had.
100%. By the way, people get that book. It's an amazing book. Email at GPS. Look up Dan Martell. He's incredible. I'm in his fitness coaching program, so which is pretty epic. And then he has his mindset videos. Love Dan Martell, man. Yep. If you're listening, Dan, appreciate you, brother. Question number 3: what are you most curious about right now?
Yeah. So I am most curious about AI. So I spend probably 4 to 5 hours a week, an hour a day, Monday through Friday, trying to learn something new about AI, using AI, trying to understand how AI can help me grow my business or become more efficient in my business.
Love it. Same thing here. In fact, I just for my team, I just encourage them. I said, hey, look, this new thing going on. One thing per week. If you could just create an AI automated system for a task that you're doing now, you'll get a bonus. And then the person at the end of the month who's done more, has done the most AI automated systems setups, you get a bigger bonus, right? And so I'm like, you guys are all AI experts. You just don't even know it yet. So congratulations, automate everything in your business.
That's right.
Love it. Next question: number 1 leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by.
Whew, now that's a good one, man. There are so many. Let me see. What is the number 1 leadership quote? Yes. So if you find something you love, you'll never go to work a day in your life.
I love it. I love it.
Yep. Yeah. Because, man, there have been so many times, man, that I've worked 6-7 days a week, 12, 13-hour days, and it wasn't work for me because I love what I do. It's like you look up and like you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's this late already or this time already, because the time is flying. Because it's almost like it's almost like you're playing your own video game, but it's your video game in your business or your video game in life. You're not thinking about the time. You're thinking about what you want to get completed or what you need to get done, and it's just like you're just knocking stuff out. So if you find something you love, you'll never go to work a day in your life.
I absolutely love it. And the very last question, and it's kind of centered around our whole Build It to Billions podcast. You give more, all of it away, which is a stewardship mindset over ownership, right? And so how do you best stay centered in a stewardship mindset, LeVar, versus ownership?
Sure. So I have my daily rituals, and in my daily rituals, I journal for 15 minutes every morning. It started out years ago. I just wanted to do it 3 days a week. And today I don't know what I would do if I didn't journal every morning. But when I'm journaling, I always end with what I'm grateful for, because I have learned that if you are grateful, it's really hard to kind of be anxious or pretentious or things like that if you truly sit down, humble yourself, and are grateful. So I choose 3 things every day that I am grateful for, and I don't leave or not write in that journal until I put those 3 things in that journal and really process it.
I absolutely love it. By the way, what are the other things that what other questions or things are you journaling through in general? Do you have like a format for before the gratitudes?
Yeah. So one, it starts with my spirit level. So I want to know what my spirit is that day. So I rate it from a scale of 1 to 10, and knowing that for me, low is a 7.9 is low. I always want to be above an 8, and I ain't never been above a 9. So,
okay.
So it's usually in that 8 to 9. Second, it's about my health. So, healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? So I always put like, hey, did I get the number of steps I needed to get in? Did I drink the amount of water that I wanted to drink? Did I get enough protein in me? Things like that. So I always want to document my spirit level, my health, kind of, make sure that I'm taking care of my mind, my body, and my soul.
Oh, I love it. LeVar, this has been amazing, man. I want to thank you for coming today and bringing wisdom, bringing insight, inspiration. I want to encourage you to keep using your gifts and talents to make a difference in people's lives, right? Creating the jobs, the trades, the real estate, the investments, all of it is incredibly inspiring. And I really appreciate you taking the time to spend it with us today. For our listeners who want to get in touch with you, could you remind them one last time, what's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, definitely. If they just go to rosieinvestment.com, man, on that website, it has my link tree. It also has kind of Instagram, all of my accounts. You can find me and get a hold of me.
Awesome. Thanks, LeVar. I also want to thank all of our listeners or viewers for listening or watching another episode of the Build It to Billions podcast. We're also streaming on Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. We're on this journey with you to basically travel from millions to billions in revenue so we can give more all of it away to help MVPs, the most vulnerable people in this world. I want to encourage you to take action today, make an impact, figure out a creative way to use your business and those around you in the community to make an impact like LeVar is doing. And of course, if you have a huge, massive exit in Bitcoin business or real estate, and you're tired of the old 1031 exchange, you don't have to stick with the old way of doing things. In fact, the 1031 exchange doesn't even work for business or Bitcoin. It only works for investment real estate, but our strategy works for all assets of any kind. It just needs to be a large enough exit, $1 million net proceeds, $1 million gain. Just go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com or check out the book, Building a Capital Gains Tax Exit Plan. It's our journey from 1031 to our strategy now, building a capital gains tax exit plan. Go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Appreciate everyone out there listening or viewing. We'll talk to you again all real soon. Bye now.
You have just listened to another information-packed episode of Capital Gains Tax Solutions with Brett Swarts. We hope you enjoyed today's show and found it helpful. Visit capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to access the show notes and to access more resources. Don't forget to leave a review and join us again next time.